You might be familiar if I share these words with you, you might be able to quickly figure out what it is I'm talking about. Here's a little song I wrote. I like to sing it note for note. Anyone know the next part? Anyone? Yes? Don't worry. What's the next part? Be happy. Excellent. Woo! More challah for you later. Excellent. Yes. So that's the song, Don't Worry, Be Happy. By anyone? Bobby McFerrin. Very nice. Excellent. Thank you very much. Which, by the way, a little known fact, did you know that every single part of that song is a cappella? And every single part of it is just him. So all the harmonies, all the everything, all the that is all him. He did the whole thing. It's pretty impressive. Anyone know the release date? Anyone? It's tough. It's tough. What? Someone said something. Right. Someone said something good, perhaps. 89 is so close. 88 is the correct answer, yes. Yes, 1988 is when he released the song, Don't Worry, Be Happy. It was the first a cappella song to get to the top of the Billboard. It was the first one. It was originally coined by Meher Baba, an Indian mystic, and he sort of meant for it to be upbeat and fun and energetic, and it featured in a very popular movie. It's like quiz time tonight from the Bima. Anyone know the movie? Popular movie that it featured. It was the first time you sort of officially heard it in this movie. I'll give you a hint. Well, the actor who was in it was Tom Cruise. What's that? Cocktail. Yes, very good. 2 people get challah tonight. Excellent. It's good. Yes. So it was featured in Cocktail. So it's a very sort of upbeat, very happy song. Don't worry. Be happy. And then it sort of lists if you have some trouble, if things aren't going so well, if they are going well. Don't worry, be happy. It's kind of just, that's sort of the mantra over and over again. He's pretty much saying, be happy even if you're worried. Be happy. Because don't worry, it'll all be fine. And so we'll take that concept, we'll move it into the sun is pretty much set, but as I mentioned before services, it is the first of Adar. It is the first of the Hebrew month of Adar, which is the month that holds Purim. Good, if you're listening earlier. Excellent. So there are 2 Adars, because the way the sort of Hebrew Jewish calendar works, we're in Adar 2, which means we're officially in the month now that Purim is coming. So get ready. It's going to be awesome. So it's interesting because the phrase you're supposed to say, or the phrase that sort of brings us into this first of Adar, is this Hebrew phrase that says "Mi shenichnas Adar marbim besimcha." It's actually a fun, upbeat song. Misha, 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 nichnas Adar. It's very fun. I could tell you were stomping along with me. Yeah, it's really good. It was like, oh, I loved that one. Go back to Bobby McFerrin. So. Yes, so it's the song that you sing, and it's very upbeat, and it's very exciting. And what it says is pretty much, whoever enters Adar grows in happiness. So today was the first of Adar. Did you grow in happiness today? 3 hands went up. Excellent. So our percentages are, okay, good, some late hands. All right, good. So yeah, thank you, in the back. Yeah, it takes a while for the sound to travel to the back of the room. So I'm happy that we're together on this. So yes, pretty much what you're supposed to say all day, and actually all month in preparation for Purim, is Misha, 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 Michnet, Misha, Nichnas Adar. This is the song, right? Whoever enters Adar grows in happiness. But a lot of people beg the question, what if you're not happy? What if you're not happy? How is it that the Talmud tells us to be happy? Because Misha, Misha, that fun song comes right from the Talmud, from the rabbis. What if I don't want to be happy? What if I'm not happy? Now what? Now I have a commandment that I have to deal with, essentially, to move into this month. Because yesterday, by the way, was Shvat, a different month. Today is Adar. So between yesterday and today, why should I decide that today I'm happy? If maybe I was not happy yesterday, or I'm not happy. Maybe there's something going on, I'm not happy. So how is that allowed? It sort of goes back to Bobby McFerrin, like, don't worry, be happy. What if I'm worried? Really, what if I'm worried? What if I can't be happy and I'm worried? And the commandment in the Talmud says, be happy. It's it. Do it. It's today. Be happy. Be happy. Do it. I said to be happy. Yeah, right. So if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. So it's not very fair. And so the rabbis beg this question: what if there's like a middle ground? Like, how can you sort of find the space maybe to help you transition, particularly because this mitzvah, this commandment comes to us to say, be happy. How do you sort of balance if you are happy or not happy? And so one of the stories that they have is one of my favorite stories of all stories that I ever tell ever. I must tell it at Camp Stein 7 times a summer. It's my favorite story. And it's about King Solomon, right? So King Solomon wanted to sort of live in the middle of this. So he thought of a mechanism that would help him live in the middle of this process. And he thought, I want something to help me to transition. If I'm happy, I want this thing to help to transition me to realize things are really good right now. I should focus on how really good my life is. And if I'm not doing so well, the king wanted something to transition him to say, you know what, things aren't going so well for me, but you know what, God willing, I'll figure it out and there'll be better times ahead. And so there's a story that King Solomon wore this ring. He wore a ring on his finger, very popular story, that he sent one of his sort of servants to search for this ring, and he said, tell him, I want you to go find me something, a ring, a bracelet, a necklace, something that when I'm happy, it'll remind me, oh, awesome, things are good. Let me really focus on that. And when I'm sad, it'll uplift me. And so the story goes on that the servant goes on and can't find it. And the last possible day, like on the day it's due to the king, he figures it out. And he has this ring made. And he can't read. The servant can't read. But he asks this silversmith he explains the story to a silversmith and says, listen, I need this ring for the king. Happy, sad, happy. And so the silversmith writes something on this piece of silver, on this ring, hands it to the servant. He runs up to the king. And the king is positive that he couldn't find it because it's like an impossible task. And yet, when the servant hands him the ring, the king who was smiling and laughing, thinks, wow, he got it. It's amazing. And so the theory, the story, the midrash, is that on his finger, he wore his whole life this ring that said, Gam ze ya'avor, which means this too shall pass. And that's how he lived his life. He lived his life with this concept. And every time he was in a bad place, it'll pass. And when he was in a good place, he thought, it's going to pass, so let me really focus on what it is I'm trying to connect to or move through. And so this is what he wore. And so one of the stories that comes to the question of you're going to enter the month of Adar happy. Well, what if you sort of find this middle space where you can sort of waver back and forth and say, you know what, I'm in a good place, I'm in a bad place, I'm going to work in both places. If things aren't going so well, I'm going to improve them, and if things are going well, I'm going to really focus on them. This is the concept, and this is what they say the king wore on his hand. And so, like I mentioned, yesterday the calendar changed from the month of Shvat to the month of Adar, and all of a sudden we're supposed to be happier today than yesterday. All of a sudden. It's a beautiful idea that we can all be happy together as we follow the winding emotional path of the Jewish calendar. But how can we simply snap our fingers and be completely, undoubtedly, wholeheartedly happy? Yesterday, no. Today, I'm happy. So as we enter Adar, we're supposed to be happy. But I'm not certain that it works perfectly this way. So we are happy when we choose to be happy. And when the moment comes that we decide we're ready to put the stresses and the worries, don't worry, be happy, and the problems aside, then we can maybe move towards this concept of whoever enters Adar grows in happiness. And so on this Shabbat, I invite all of us to see these words as more of a wish, maybe, a hope, a connection, a work in progress for all of us, rather than a command. And as we enter the month of Adar, I hope that we will find ourselves ready to choose happiness and find ourselves whistling along with Bobby McFerrin. Shabbat Shalom.